Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. In this very special video, I would like to present about my final year project entitled The Development of Regression Model in Driving Fatigue in Malaysia by using the ergonomics approach. Firstly, my name is Nur Ain Qistina binti Shafee and I am under Dr. Seri Rahayu Binti Kamat. In a big picture, my project is about building a mathematical equation based on the brainwave captured by a software called EEG, electroencephalography, in which my subjects will drive the simulation for the maximum of 60 minutes. Let's move to the next slide. Without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, I would like to explain about the background of my project. As you can see here, the graph on the left side shows the trend of the road crash and the vehicle involved in Malaysia from 2008 to 2017. Both of the total road accidents and total number of vehicles involved are increasing year by year. Next, the graph on the right side shows the road traffic deaths for every 100,000 registered car in Asian region. Both of the graphs are reports by the Royal Malaysia Police in 2018.
Next is the problem statement that execute my project. As you can see from both of the tables, it shows the main crash contributing factors out of 139 cases. On the left side of the table, we can see that the fatigue is the third main factors that contribute to the crash, while on the right table, fatigue is the fifth one. For this project, fatigue can be seen from the perspective of tiredness after driving for a long time. Hence, the maximum driving time exposure in this experiment is 60 minutes. Another important factor that triggers this project to start is the conspicuousness that related to the fatigue. Conspicuousness in this project is the failure of the driver to put a total focus in sight while driving. This related to the circadian rhythm that the more the time one spent on the same task, the level of oxygen level in the brain will drop gradually, thus making one to be tired after driving for a long time. Meanwhile, the factor of the road defects are put into account by including the main types of road: uphill, downhill, winding, and straight. For the speeding, most of the fatigue cases are mostly related to consistent speed. For the risky driving, this factor is not included in this experiment because all the subjects are healthy and in normal condition before going through the experiment. For the next slide, I am going to explain the types of brainwaves that involved in this experiment as one of the variables. Firstly, the alpha. Alpha is from the range of 8 Hz to 13 Hz. This type of wave is corresponding to a relaxed, calm, and a lucid state of mind. Secondly, beta, which is from the range of 13 Hz to 32 Hz. This type of wave is corresponding to conscious, awake, and alert state. Thirdly, delta, which is from 0.5 Hz to 4 Hz. This type of wave can be obtained when the person is in deep, dreamless sleep and lost body awareness. Lastly is theta, which is from 4 Hz to 8 Hz. This type of wave usually can be found in the young adult, particularly over the temporal regions and during hyperventilation. On the right side of the slide, it shows the different parts of the brainwave that have different dominant function, in which in this experiment the brainwave is recorded from the emotive that will adhere on the scalp. Next slide is the objective of my experiments. Firstly, to study the effect of the mental stress and brain activity of the drivers while driving from time to time. Secondly, to analyze the oxygen consumption during the driving activity in order to find the correlation between variables by capturing wave produced by the brain from time to time. Lastly, to develop regression models based on cognitive ergonomics factor to calculate the fatigue, which the models can be predicted the relationship between the input parameters and output responses. Next slide shows the literature review. Both of the articles shows the development of regression model by using experiment, but only using the camera, not by the simulation. Meanwhile, on this slide, there are two articles that using EEG but producing only qualitative evaluation but not quantitative evaluation.
Next, we move to the methodology. Start from the project execution by collecting articles from previous research and report. This is to understand the current situation of road crash in Malaysia to achieve the first objective. Then, run the experiment to achieve the second objective. Okay, here is the last part of the experiment. The last part is the analyzing the data by using the software. There are two main softwares were used. First, the brain vision that clear all the noise of the data. The noise here meaning the data that out from the maximum and the minimum limit. And the design expert 12.0 that developing the final desired equation by doing ANOVA analysis for all the respective data according to each types of brainwave, alpha, beta, delta, and theta. The ANOVA meaning is the analysis of variance, the statistical analysis.
In this slide, shows the subject are being tested to drive the simulation with the emotive EEG that is adhered to the scalp to record the brainwave. There are two laptops. The right one is to control the simulation, and the left one is the emotive, which is to filter the data. Next is the result after all the data are being analyzed. This slide shows the equation for each of the types of the brainwave and according to the types of sensor. The sensors is represent the sensor on the emotive which adhere on the scalp of my subjects while they were driving the simulation.
Next slide is for delta and theta. Next is the very important and crucial part in my experiment, which is the validation. For the validation, we compare the prediction and the actual. The actual is obtained from the experiment and the prediction is obtained from the equation analyzed by the design expert. The error here we can see is less than 10%, which means my equation are relevant and reliable to be used.
On this slide, I'm going to discuss about my finding that beta wave is the most relevant types of brainwave. On the last slide, the future scope for this experiment is increasing the time exposure up to 2 or 3 hours, doing the experiment in a straight road without any circumstances to increase the boredom of the subjects. Therefore, we can get the gamma brainwave, which represent the different mental state. Last but not least, I am so enjoying doing this experiment despite of the pandemic that give a tremendous impact on this current worldview. There are so many new knowledge that I've got to learn and really has opened up my mind on the new development of what human can cooperate with science in decreasing the road crash and save one's life. Before I end this video, I would like to give a huge appreciation to all the attention given for this video. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.